back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to have another little sit down chit chat video about uni and life after and how it's been. This is a video that I did a while ago, but I'm redoing it because the contents have changed since I did it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, share it with your friends, and let's get into it. Now, when I planned this video out, I asked my followers if they had any questions for me about uni or life after uni. So I've used these questions to structure the video, so I hope that makes sense to you. So I am 23, soon to be 24 for those of you who don't know. So realistically, we're going by society standards, I should be finished uni, but I'm not, and we're going to get into that a little bit more. So the first question I was asked was, why nursing? Now, growing up, I wasn't really sure what I wanted. I wanted to do everything. You know, everybody wants to do everything. I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a hairdresser, I wanted to be a CSI. I wanted to be a CSI. That was my biggest bag. But eventually, talked to my parents and they encouraged nursing and teaching. And I thought, you know, nursing's a bit more of me. I don't really want to mark any books. And so, you know, I went for it. I thought it's a good job, it's rewarding. I'm helping people, saving lives. And the idea of it sounded great. The top tip I'll give to people who want to get into nursing is try and get some experience in nursing before you go to uni for nursing. It's very hard to find work experience for nursing, but try. Volunteer in a hospital for a few days. Try, because you need it. Yeah, cool. So I went to uni in the Midlands. I did nursing for 2 years. I loved it. The placements, the study bit was a bit meh. So given GCSE biology with a hint of A-level, but the placements were so much fun. If you got a good one, I was lucky to have 3 out of 4 decent placements. And so they were enjoyable. I'm saving lives, I'm going to people's houses, I'm doing bandages, I'm in open heart surgery. It's a brand new experience and I really liked it. I saw how important the role is, how respected you are as a nurse for doing what you do. But I also saw the downsides. I saw the little to no money, I saw the short staffness, I saw all of those things that made me really consider whether this is what I want to do long term. It was literally my second placement where I was like, maybe I should look at other alternatives. Literally, I'd spend my placement mapping out, okay, if I finish my degree, what can I do next? Where can I go next? What masters? What job? If you find yourself doing that in first year, you probably should change your course. I should have changed my course in first year. I did not. Learn from me, change your course. Got to end of second year now, still feeling the same way, to the point where like placements are getting me sick. My third placement was my worst placement. Not because people are lovely, but I just, at that point, I just proper was not feeling it. I was having panic attacks, I was having anxiety attacks, like just going into placement was a struggle. I racked up like 80 sick hours just in that placement alone. That's how bad it was. And so, you know, I thought to myself, long term, this ain't it. It's a quick buck, it's a quick change right now, you know, the money's not bad, you get paid, you get a job straight after you graduate. But long term, for me, it wasn't gonna make sense. And so I left. Luckily, I left just as COVID came. So if I'd stayed and finished third year, I would have been drafted in early to the COVID response. So I'm kind of glad I left when I left. But it is bittersweet seeing all my friends who I was in class with graduating in their blues and stuff. But if something's not for you, there's no point forcing it, literally. So the second question I got was, if you could study another course, what would you do? So, as I said, I should have graduated by now and I haven't. That's because I've gone back to uni. So I left nursing, I got a job. As the pandemic hit, I left my job and I was trying to find a new job. I was struggling. I applied for so many jobs. I had a Google spreadsheet of jobs I applied for. I'd have like the link, the job description, the pay, when I applied, when I got rejected. I applied for hundreds of jobs. And because I couldn't find one, I said, well, I don't want it to become September and I'm not working and I'm not in uni and I'm just doing nothing because I'd feel proper jobless. So I decided to go back to uni. So I applied to do a few courses. I applied for business management, I applied for business psychology, and I applied for management by itself. And I got into all 3. But I chose to go with management. That's because I felt like management was quite vague. It's not very specific. I could kind of go anywhere with that degree. I could do nursing management, property management, financial management. It's literally anything. And so that's what I study now. I actually really enjoy it. I do evening uni, so I go to university between 6 and 9 p.m. online. It is in person, but again, COVID. So right now it's online and it's quite interesting. I cover economics, taxation, finances. I look at why we do the things we do when it comes to work, and I quite enjoy it. Evening uni is actually quite useful as well because, funnily enough, just after I started uni, I actually managed to get a job. So at the moment, I work full time and I study full time. So I've been able to go in the evening, give me that balance of not having to pick between the job I'm in or the course I want to do. Does that make sense? The next question I got was, what's the hardest part about uni? And I'd say for me, number one hardest thing about uni is time management. You need to manage your time. Uni is so full on. You have about 3 or 4 modules per term, different exam dates, different requirements, different readings. And you can lose your focus and lose track of what you're doing if you don't stay on top of it. Especially when you're managing or juggling uni with work and other commitments, personal life, relationships. It can get quite overwhelming. I would say managing your time at uni is a very key skill. If you're organised, you'll find it easier to do, but managing your time is very important. And I would recommend that if you're going to uni and you haven't really got that time management on lock yet, now's the time to figure it out because you're gonna need it, trust me. The next thing I would say that was hard about uni was course load. Like I said, you've got 3 or 4 different modules per term, and they can be quite heavy. And if you don't know the material beforehand, so like with nursing, for example, I did GCSE biology, but I did GCSEs and then I left science alone after that. So I'm coming into nursing now and I'm having to learn the whole human anatomy top to bottom, knowing the names of bones and stuff. It can be quite a lot because you're learning that on top of what you're meant to be learning. So you're learning what you should have known and what you need to know at the same time. It can be overwhelming. I'd recommend planning out your study, taking notes, and just making sure you stay on top of things. If you know you've got a lecture coming up and you know you don't really know the topic, do some homework, do some pre-revision so that when you get into it, you're not as lost as you would be if you didn't. The third hardest part about uni that I found was that it can be quite lonely. I went to uni in Midlands. I didn't know anybody there besides like the 1-2 friends I had spotted around. I had started a course, so I knew nobody on my course. And I lived off campus in a studio. So I was pretty much almost always by myself for the first few weeks. Obviously, I made friends and stuff on the first day and stuff, but if you're not really into the partying and stuff like that, you find it that there's not much for you to do at uni when you're by yourself. I joined societies and stuff like that, but loneliness at uni is a very big thing. You don't realise how hard it is to deal with being alone until you're alone, and then you recognise afterwards that being alone is quite comforting. But when you're used to all your friends living local, when you're used to having active social life, uni can be a big change to that. Uni can be a big shocker, especially when you thrive off that kind of environment of having a social life, having lots of friends and stuff like that. So for me, I enjoyed learning how to cope with my loneliness and being alone. But to combat the loneliness, I put myself out there chatting with friends. There are these apps you can download that like you can join group chats with people from your course, from the uni you're going to make friends. I found that those helped me a bit, even if I didn't make friends, familiar names, familiar faces, so I'm not alone on campus. I'd recommend that to anyone going to uni who feels afraid of being alone. Also, for those of you who are Adventist going to uni, one thing that we have is Adventist students on campus, and you guys can find people from different churches who are going to the university that you're going to, and you can find friends that way. At university, I was in JAM, Jesus in Ministries, and I was in Adventist students on campus. I was surrounded by a lot of Adventist friends at uni, so that made my uni experience pretty much like my home experience. And that's why after the first few months, my uni experience was great because I was surrounded by people who were like-minded, who I kind of knew beforehand and who I got on with quite well. So the next question I got was about work and applying for jobs. So like I said to you guys, I left nursing just before the pandemic started, and I was looking for jobs, and from then it was really hard. So pre-pandemic, applying for jobs was hard. Finding a job with no real degree is quite hard, and because I didn't have a full degree, I had like a certificate, it was very difficult to find something in like the office field that I wanted to get into. I did look into HR. I saw a tweet that was like, we need more people in HR. HR is a great job to do. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And I went and started a course in HR, went and bought memberships and mentorships in HR. Didn't see it through. Did not see it through. Because I felt like I was just reacting to the fact that I'm not in uni, I need something to do, and I just went through it. Don't be so reactive. Make plans and think things through before you just do stuff. Because I wasted money, but I still got my time, which is great, but I definitely wasted money. But I found that the job market is quite difficult. Definitely have your CV up to scratch if you're going to be applying for jobs. It's key. So I applied for so many jobs pre-pandemic. I was applying, and everything was just hard. The interviews were weird. It was like interviews online with like the pre-recorded camera, so you can't stop or start, you have to just talk. Yeah, I fumbled those. I finally got a face-to-face interview with one company. It was great. I had a best interview I've ever had, just for them to turn around and not give me the job. It was just disappointment after disappointment, rejection after rejection. But I finally did get the job. The one that rejected me called me back and took me. And I was there for 2 months, and then I got put on furlough. It was just thing after thing. Honestly, I couldn't catch a break. So while I was on furlough, I thought I'd apply for more jobs, try and relocate back to London. I couldn't find anything. I could not find anything. So for those of you applying for jobs right now, my tips are this. LinkedIn is your friend. Make a LinkedIn account if you don't have one and be active on there. LinkedIn is very, very important. People might not act like it's important. People might not use it often, but LinkedIn is key. Update your CV. It doesn't have to be pretty. My CV is gorgeous, but you don't have to have a pretty CV. But you need to have it formatted, one page, make it make sense. Get straight to the facts, don't waste time, don't waffle, just keep it neat. And I'd say don't give up. Applying for a job is like learning to ride a bike. You're going to try, and eventually you're going to get it. You're going to go to these interviews and you're going to flop, and you might not flop, but you know what I mean. You're going to have difficult moments in the interviews, but each one's preparing you for the next time you have an interview to go forward and smash it. You know, I like to leave you guys with some general advice anyway, and I'm dropping advice through and through this video, but some of the advice I'd give to you guys who are going to uni, applying for jobs, or just not really sure what you want to do with yourself, the first thing I'd say is to work backwards. Figure out what it is that motivates you. Is it that you want to do a certain career, or is it that you want to make a certain amount? Once you know which one it is, work backwards from that. So say for example, I know that I want to earn over 80,000 before I turn 30. I know that realistically that's maybe going to be something tech related. Then I pick what I like. Do I want to do, do I want to do coding? Do I want to do marketing? You pick whatever you want to do and work backwards. So if I say I want to do coding, that means I've got to go to uni and do engineering, but you could do an apprenticeship. Do you get what I mean? Once you know what you kind of want to do and you're able to work back the steps, it makes life so much easier because you actually know where you're going or know what the next step is. The next piece of advice I'd give is to pick something that aligns with you. There's no point picking a course or working a job that doesn't meet your moral standards or your moral grounding. Pick something that's going to align with you long term, not just for the moment. Search for something that makes you feel like you actually contribute to something. A lot of life is going to work. You wake up, you go to work, you come back home Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, 8 till 6, it depends on your hours. And if you're going to be doing something that often, make sure it's something you love. It's not always possible to love your job, but if you love aspects of it, if you love the way your job makes people feel, that's a good thing, that's a good quality to have in a job. So search for a job that will give you that because it's important. The last piece of advice I'd give you is to pay attention to trends. Growing up, my parents used to say, nursing, teaching, doctor, you're always going to need a nurse, teacher, or doctor. But you're also always going to be a hairdresser, a cook, a waiter. Like, there are a lot of things that are always going to be needed in the world. But pay attention to the things that are becoming more important. So look at cryptocurrency and how it's booming. Look at these NFTs, whatever they are, and how they're growing. Look at AI and how that's becoming more prominent in our day-to-day lives. Look at the things that you see around you that are changing or that are becoming more popular and see if that fits into what you want to do, because where something is growing, there's always going to be jobs in that field. I do hope the little tips and stuff I gave you helped. I hope those of you who are applying for uni get in. It's about that time, the applications are in now, so good luck to all of you going off. Those of you in uni, stay focused. You're nearly finished. You're closer to finishing than starting, so see it through. But if it's causing you stress, it's not making sense, realign your vision and make it make sense for you, because you're only doing this for you. Okay, that can be done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.